Hi everyone, and welcome to our demo of the user perspective for the IronHacks website. So when we first go on to ironhacks.com, we're greeted with our sign in and sign up. So you can go ahead and create an account, or if you already have an account, you can automatically sign in. And as you scroll down, we just kind of explain what IronHacks is, which is our virtual hacking community, and about the challenges, the workspace, and our feedback, which we're actually going to go through right now. We also have our blog as well as the description of what the IronHacks process is. So as I hit sign in, you're going to be greeted with the Google sign in. So you could just utilize your already pre-existing Google account. So I'm just going to use my account here, and it's just going to sign me in. After we log in, we're greeted with our registered hacks, that are open for registration, any upcoming hacks, and then also our social feed from Twitter as well. So you can always make sure that you're up to date. You can always make sure that you can access your registered hacks immediately, and also check for any open hacks or upcoming hacks as well. So as we dive in as a user, we're going to go into our latest hack, which was the fall 2022 unemployment hack. And the first thing we're greeted with is our overview page. This will describe the kind of tasks that you're going to complete, but may not describe all the rules yet. Anything about our workspace, accessing the data through BigQuery, and your submission, evaluation, and the process of the competition as well. As a user, we need to get to familiarize ourselves with our workspace. So we have a nice workspace already set up for you, which provides a no setup environment for our users so they can get right into the challenge. So if we open that up, that's going to open up our Jupyter Hub provided by one of our partners. And we're greeted with a Jupyter Hub notebook and our entire environment. So users and participants don't need to set up anything to get started on a challenge. And here I just have a notebook already open that summarizes our user activity. So I'm just going to hit run all, and that's going to kick through this entire notebook. And it's going to show, it's going to run through all cells and show you that all our packages work and are already pre-installed, which already makes the user's life very easy. And as you can see, it's already chugging out numbers very quickly. So users can create high-level computations very easily in our workspace as well. So as we start kind of digging into it, you can kind of see that we're tracking user hub commands, summary treatments, and notebook treatments, which are both of our cores, which we'll explain in a little bit. And we can track hub commands throughout the entire hack. And this gives us a unique perspective because we're not just looking at GitHub commits, essentially. We're looking at the entire progress throughout the hack between submissions as well. Any errors that they may encounter or how many commands that they're running. And this gives us a huge insight into how our participants are thinking and how they're actually utilizing their environment as well. So that's just a little bit about what our workspace is and what data that we track from our workspace as well. So coming back to the overview page, we're just going to walk through some of the tabs that are available to our users as well. So the first thing we have is, of course, the task. And the task is probably the second most important part for our participants. And the task describes the context and the goals, the actual task, so what they're actually trying to predict or classify, or any challenge that they're trying to complete. All the data and libraries that are accessible to the participants, and the week numbers and corresponding data that they have available to them, as well as any tables that are already existing within BigQuery. And then any required materials that they need, the evaluation steps such as the MSPE, MAP, and description of how we actually score their exploration and incentives as well. And the last bit we have is prizes and incentives. And that describes any monetary values that we may distribute or any opportunities that we may give to students. This can be changed and fixated depending on how you want to perform your hack. The second part is the rules. The rules is quite strict and clear. And this can be changed per hack depending on what rules may coexist as well. The second bit we have is the calendar. And this is just a simple Google Calendar that we can upload for you. And that shows any events that may occur throughout the hack. So as you can see, we had a live session with Meet the Expert. Any submission opportunities and data releases as well are tracked on here. So this gives the participant a really easy way of just checking out what events are happening and to keep up to date with anything that's happening as well. The next bit is examples, and this is where our treatments and cohorts start coming into play. As you can see, I have examples and or summaries and notebooks. Because I'm in both cohorts, I'm showing both the views. But if I'm in the summaries cohort, then the notebooks is going to be omitted, and vice versa for the other cohort. And this starts to demonstrate how our experimental design is coming into play and how we can change the view of the participant dynamically as well. So as you can see, we have example summaries and example notebooks. And if we expand these summaries, we can show just a quick summary of what a linear regression is or any other model that we may show. This specific treatment was trying to show the difference between a summary and a notebook and how qualitative and how this changes solutions per cohort. And the next bit we have is our notebooks, which show an actual notebook that's runnable by a participant. And just to take it a step further, they can also download this notebook as well. The next bit we have is tutorials. So these are tutorials that are provided to all participants, so they can always go through these and reach these. And we go through what is our Jupyter Hub, what is Jupyter Notebook, how to actually get your data from our BigQuery, common practices and SQL commands that they can execute. So that's always is helpful. And then just basic how to engineer your solution as a data scientist, building a basic regression model to kind of get started, and then also tutorials on how to get their notebook ready for submission and basic guidelines for writing their summaries during their submission phase as well. And when we go into these, we can see that we have really nice descriptions of what, for this specific one, a Jupyter Hub notebook is. And for each one, we always have a corresponding notebook. So if participants need to run code, they can always run code through and download it as well and work on it in their workspace. The next tab we're going to talk about is the forum. And this is our quick and also handy way to give out quick announcements about any errors that we may have on our side, or just distribute any information, or just give a quick announcement about anything that's happening during the hack. So as you can see, we're planning our award ceremony, so we're giving out some forum posts there, and participants can comment on there and to ask any questions to the admins as well. Probably the third most important part for participants is the submissions. And submissions page is sort of like this. So it shows the due date and whether it's open or not. So currently we have the final milestone open just for this demo. And when we hop in there, we're going to show all the information that you need, as well as any code that you may need it put into your code so that we can actually track your code. And then we show you how to set up your output file and any descriptions that you need to include as well. At the bottom, we have your summary input box, other references. So let's say you use another website or another student, you can reference those materials here. Any tags for your model, and any peer references listed by their alias that it's anonymous as well. And we have our required files, which you could just drop in there, and then you just hit submit. The next bit is the results, and probably one of the most important pieces for our participants. So when we go through our results, this shows any scores that a user has gotten by their anonymous user tag. This is randomly generated for each user. So let's say I wanted to pull up this user. This pulls up their MSPE, MAPE, exploration, and scores, and their BigQuery effort as well. And then at the bottom here, we give descriptions for those scores so that the participant knows how to read their scores as well. The second tab on this is your peers. And this is where, again, our cohort system and our experimentation comes about as well. So here we have summaries and notebooks again, which similarly, the summary cohort can only see summaries and the notebook cohort can only see notebooks. And if we expand these, we can see what a participant actually wrote for their summary. And as we said before, these are anonymous aliases that the participant has, so there's no corroboration there as well. And the next bit is also their notebooks if you're in that cohort. So let's say I was in the notebook cohort, then you would only see this. And then you can also see their notebook and download it as well. And that is the totality of the user perspective given for our IronHacks. Thank you so much for joining us.